Hi there, good morning and good afternoon. My name is Ivar.
Hi, I'm Dave, and welcome to this webinar. In fact, we're going to have something different today.
It's something new, Dave. We have a tech talk today.
Right.
We're going to talk about a Swedish heavy metal rock band, Hammerfall, and they toured this year with our showmatch system.
Yeah, it was a European tour
Yes, it was.
in serious venues.
Serious venues, as you can see behind us. You already see some pictures. They play in venues up to 6,000 people, so that's quite huge.
Yeah.
This is a band that started somewhere around 1993.
Yeah.
So they play quite some years.
Yes.
And today we have a tech talk around the use of our showmatch system.
Right.
So we invited we invited the lead guitar player of the band and the system tech and the front of house to talk about our system.
Yeah. And we also invited Detlef from Production Partners. It's actually a German company, and Detlef is going to support us in facilitating this conversation between the folks that Ivar just mentioned.
Yeah, and good to know is that if you have any questions, please feel free to leave them in the Q&A section. You will find that on the left side of your screen. There's a chat area and the Q&A, and please put your questions in the Q&A section. So be aware of that. We will cover them at the end of the webinar, so you can ask anything that you want.
Yes, and we have the folks in the call, so please make sure if you have some good questions.
Yeah, and I think we're ready to start, so enjoy.
Okay, welcome to our short meeting here online in Zoom. And in our little round, as you already heard, we have Hammerfall guitar player Pontus Norgren. We have front of house sound engineer Michael Spies. He's working since 2009 for Hammerfall, I think. Is that right?
That's right.
Yeah.
I was 1 or 2 years in between, not, but generally it's right.
Yeah, and system engineer Franz Eberson, you see him here labeled as LFE Audio. He runs his own company. Welcome.
Thank you.
Pontus, I named you first, but usually I would give you the last place in this order of conversation, as we are talking about pro audio and our little pro audio one, not about musicians. Oh. But you have a plus point. Do you guess which one?
So, sorry, I have.
Do you have a plus point in our round? Do you guess which one?
I think I also work as a front of house engineer, and I've done it for several years. And talking about France, I've been having France helping me out system engineering at the Sweden Rock Festival since more or less day one. And we've been not colleagues, but we've been working a lot through the years. And so when his name came up, I was like, yes, we're using him. He helped me out on one of the best shows, at Sweden Rock, when Europe had the reunion show there the first time. He was system engineering, and he kicked ass. Yeah. I did my best, and he helped me out.
So you are a sound engineer too. How did that happen? Guitar players usually they are interested in several things to say, but on PA systems and mixing consoles.
Yeah, but it ended up someone in the band had to be the guy that understood the technical side of everything. And
usually it's a keyboard player, not the guitar player.
Yeah, I know, but I'm sorry. No, but it ended up like that, and all the clubs and venues in Stockholm at the time in like late 80s, 90s, no one, they didn't have house engineers that was good, and they couldn't help get help for all the club scenes and everything we had. People needed someone to help them out, because for example, in Sweden, it was really, the smaller rock clubs and stuff always had a big issue. They always put a system in there, and then the band came and no one could do anything. And I started out being there drinking beer, and they said, can you just help us to make the vocals sound good? And I ended up doing it, and it was easy for me somehow, and it's been easy, in the studio environment also. So, and that's how I ended up being a sound engineer, because it was just, the equation just came out right every time. somehow.
So you mix both worlds. So you see both sides of the same coin. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
And I don't see any difference. You know, it's the same for me being a front of house engineer, because I'm still the missing link of the band, sort of. And I say that sound engineer, system engineer, it's very important when it comes to the performance of a band, because if the sound engineer doesn't understand how the band wants it to sound and feel the same as the band, then there's always a collision when it comes to the performance, because then the band doesn't sound as the expectation the audience have. They don't get that like wow feeling when it's, oh, it sounds like whatever band, but it's just, okay, I can hear the song, but it doesn't sound like Hammerfall, or it doesn't sound like Metallica. That's why some bands, they have the same sound engineer, and the sound engineer understands the music, and you have to be a part of the music. You have to understand the music, I think. That's the most important thing.
Yes. Pontus, in 2019, you ran this European Dominion tour.
Yeah.
I think it was mainly Europe.
Yeah.
Was it you who decided to give the Bose line array a try, or was it someone else?
No, it was me. And the thing is, because I was doing the King Diamond tour. We were in US and doing a big tour with King Diamond, and we were talking about John Bjarland and me was talking a lot, and I said, you know, we have maybe some shows that we could use it when we do some off shows, just sort of rehearsal shows before the festival run and everything. And maybe I can sort out so we can use the system, because I would love to have it, because I was there at the first time when they had, like, how do you call it? When they first, like a showroom, when they were just inviting people, and I tried out the system, and I had it in my mind all the time that I liked the clearance and how it reacted when I was mixing, even if I was mixing to pre-record material. But then it ended up that we did 2 shows. I couldn't do both shows. Franz was there, and we were doing Stockholm show and then a Copenhagen show, and the expectations from the system that I had, even if it's been enhanced through the years, it was like, thank you. This is exactly how I remembered it, how the reaction of the system, and you never connect Bose with heavy metal or rock and roll through the years. When I started that in Sweden, it was a dance band thing, but I always liked the, you know, how it can deliver, you know, full spectrum of frequencies and everything in a room. And now when it ended up like with the show match, suddenly we have a system that can cover a lot of people, and it does. And I was happy that I could just bring it in there. And then I said, maybe we can do the tour with this system. And they said, we tried to work on it. And we did. And it was amazing.
Yeah. And I suppose that's the reason why Franz joined the team as a system engineer, because you had some experience with the Bose line array. Or how did you get into contact with the Bose line array, Franz?
Well, it was actually through the shows with King Diamond we did in Stockholm and Copenhagen. Before that, I was like Pontus said, it was like not really impressed with the Bose speakers in the rock environment. But Pontus told me that this is really good, and he was actually, yeah, he was right. So that's how I ended up going on this, and with that good result from King Diamond, I was more than happy to join the Hammerfall tour to do the same thing.
As a system engineer, you are in the most contact with the system from a technical side. Could you give us a short overview about your workflow from setting up the system, tuning in, and controlling it?
Yeah, well, it's all done by computers nowadays. So I mean, I get the drawings for the venue, and I import them into a program called Ease Focus, where I can do the modeling. I can like do a prediction of the system, how it works. I can try out different things with different dispersions, different angles between all the speakers, and decide how many speakers I need for all of that. And from there on, I'm quite confident that how to set up the system when we get to the arena. And then if I've done my calculations right, it's more or less just to connect the boxes that has been in the computer and move them up in the air in the arena. And if everything's done right, if the arena looks the way it's supposed to be, it's quite easy to make the conversion from the computer to the real world. So from there on, I go on to we need to make sure that everything's connected right and do the testing of the system, like every connectors is in the right place. And then we have a little bit of tuning to do, which is always necessary to do because of the room, because of the amount of speakers that I bring in makes the array change a little bit in the especially in the low mids. It adds, if you have many boxes, it adds up a little bit more low mid, so I need to take that out. But it's been generally quite easy to tune it because it's been consistent, it's been predictable for every show. I a little bit know that what to expect out of the system on forehand. Yeah, and then we have during the show or during the tuning and all that, I use the PowerSoft amps that has a very good interface and the software where I can do all of the EQs and all the delay times and all that, and have a good overview of the whole system. And I can also monitoring how much power I'm using and how much headroom I have left and all that.
One difference compared to other line arrays, there is a couple of them on the market, is that the Bose system uses several waveguides for different angles. How practicable is that on tour?
Well, it could be. I mean, it's been working very good for us because the venues are, even if they're very different, it's normally quite a long, narrow room we're playing in. So that means I normally start from the bottom and go up in the array. So in the bottom of the array, we need a wide dispersion, about 100 degrees, 120 even. And they have both, Showmatch has a box that is like specially designed to do the downfill thing. And then we just, depending on the room, just add speakers on top, more and more speakers, because the longer the room, we need more speakers. And when we're working ourselves up in the array, we get more and more narrow dispersion just to avoid to send energy into the walls. So a typical setup is like the top box is the narrow dispersion, which is 55 degrees, and the bottom box is 100 or 120 degrees dispersion. And then what happens in the middle is a little bit different from day to day, but that's how it normally looks. And when planning the tour, we thought a lot about what were we going to use, and that ended up with us bringing the amount of speakers that we could use it like full out. So we had a lot of boxes with the different dispersions. So I thought it was a very cool feature, which worked out fine for us. And it happened one or two times that I had to change a box or two just to get the best results for that arena. But it's like a 5-minute thing to change a few boxes.
How do you design the distribution of the sound? Do you try to get a very even distribution within the arena, or try to design different songs with different levels, like a high level in the front and a lower level in the back, or do you try to get a very even coverage?
I mean, everyone should have more or less the same experience. So if everyone could have the same sound pressure and frequency response in all the seats, that would be amazing as a system designer. But I know a lot of people that go to a concert that thinks that, oh, I want to have the loudest possible sound for where I'm standing. And some people, well, I just want to sit in the back and watch the band and have a little bit conversation with my friends and have a few beers and have a laugh. So I've decided a little bit that to have even coverage from the front of the stage to about front of house position, that's the main target. And after that, I could like get down a few dBs for the rest. That's what I've like worked out for my years in the business. That is probably a good thing. But it's nice to have a tonal balance that is like the same for the whole of the audience, which is also good because it tends to get a little bit low and heavy in the front. The subs it's very hard to get the subs to cover the arena perfectly evenly. But if I lose some low end in the back, I can lose some highs and mids as well.
Mm-hmm. Another question regarding such a product on tour is, how does the communication with the Bose support work? When being on tour, running 5, 6, 7 shows in one line, if there is a problem, you need an immediate answer. How does Bose handle that?
Well, I don't know. I haven't called them. Well, I have actually, but it's been a very nice experience with them. I had some dispersion things were sent to me like within the next day. It's been great. They were very, very nice and very eager to make a good service.
Yeah, sounds perfect.
Yeah, it does.
Pontus, you as a musician and a sound engineer, how would you describe the tasks that a sound system has to solve at Hammerfall? Is it different or the same as with other musical styles and bands, or is it no difference? What's your expectation to a PA system at Hammerfall?
Yeah, I have to say that, you know, being a musician, being on stage, the biggest fight you have in venues, it's time, depending on time. And if you come in and it's different, sorry, if it's every day, it's different system engineers, and you come into venues, you come into arenas, and this is how it is. I always do it like this. And then they time it different, you know, because everyone has their favorite spot where they want to have like 0 from the drums, or if you want to have it from the lead vocals, or if they, you know, where they move the system. And the thing is, through the years, being, you know, standing in front of house or standing on stage, that every time what I do every day is time aligned so the band doesn't, you know, get interference of like face problems with ears or monitors. you time the time align the side fields, or if you have wedges or in-ears. And the thing is, with the bow system now, we didn't. If I talk for the rest of the band also, they said this is the first tour we've done where we didn't have any problems at any venues when it comes to phasing out in the in-ears. And the same is when you're closing in. If, for example, Joachim, when he walks around on stage, sometimes he has to pop one in-ear headphone out because he loses like the chest thing that a vocalist really need. And the same with the guitars. You know, if you walk around, of course, you have your sweet spots. That's the same with wedges or in-ears. You always have, oh, I love it. The bass player can be standing beside stage and he has the best sub because the time for his ears. But I think with the bow system, we never had any like cancellations, phase cancellations and stuff like that we experienced more or less. It's different every show otherwise. And if you do a huge arena tour, it's a different thing, because then if you bring your own stage, if you bring, you know, a full production, then you can time align that on a production rehearsal. But still, the time is the most important thing when it comes to be a musician standing on stage, because you can feel that even if I can't hear my guitar in the system, if it's the wrong time, if it's, you know, if it's wrong, everything comes to time nowadays in the digital world. And if it doesn't couple together, then you have a problem, and you can hear it directly. And I say, if I go out, when Michael turns up the guitar, if it's out of phase, it gets lower in my ears. If it's in time, it's like I get the like punch in my chest, and I can really feel the guitar. And I think on this tour, talking for the whole band, they said it was amazing. You know, it sounded the same every day.
Perfect.
And that was, we're talking about really different venues, arenas, everything was different every day. But because of Franz and then Mats also that helped us on stage and monitors, it was right. It was just right every day. And I think 2020, we're talking about time. If it's not time aligned, it's not good. It's never going to work. That's a problem that I know I've been coping with for years and years and years. And time is the thing.
Yes. Michael, you sit in the middle as a sound engineer in this arena, and you have to take the responsibility. You are responsible for the sound. You get all the honors, or you are responsible. How easy is it for you to produce a sound that you want with a new line array in general? How does it feel under your fingers on the mixing console?
This is a part which comes really later. First, it is really important to attend to the things which are being said in regards of time and so on. And I could learn the last few years a lot regarding this, and this helps a lot to reach this results what you want. I can remember as I started with this kind of things, then it was like this. You have it under your fingers, and you can feel it, so to say. If you turn up a fader or something, this is still the same, but it's nowadays a little bit complicated, more complicated if you not attend to all these things. And I remember that a lot of discussions going on nowadays, which people they say maybe we have we going in the wrong direction with the development of line array speakers, because the results can be huge, different, very good to really bad. And in earlier years, 15 years ago or whatever. So we had always an average, you know, it was, okay, this is how live concert sounds. And today the expectation of the people is really high now due to the overall development of things. And if you want to connect to that it's really hard. And people complain very easy also. So now after the concert, some people, or you read it in the social media, even if you thought you had an awesome show or something, but it's the opinions, what is good, they split nowadays really far. This is surprising for me. But back to your question, I enjoy it. And if you are in a good team, this is very important in my opinion, then it's really fun. That's why we're doing this. Otherwise, you might not go in this world as a job, because the days are really long and it's very affordable. And you have to learn. Continue learning is a key in this, you know, if you stand still, and it's hard.
Yeah. Pontus already mentioned that Hammerfall works on stage with a very sophisticated in-ear monitoring, I think with the Klangfabrik, and with Kemper guitar amplifiers. How does this way of working affect your mix or the task of the PA when so little sums comes into the hall from the stage?
Yeah, I have to say in earlier years, this is which connect to your question before, you never attend to that. So you even maybe had not the knowledge that you have to attend to, so to say, you know. And the experience now is there if you attend to that and adjust, or being able to manipulate time. We talk about latency and propagation time, and so then you can go there. And it was new for me, even with this Bose systems. This is my first tour with Bose system at all. It was not in my horizon before, I have to say, but maybe later we talk about that. And I noticed that the band noticed, and Pontus is the connection technically from the band, and he said, I don't know why, but it matches somehow. So there was no over affordable or difficult way to get this right in time, you know. If you fire up, the speakers are running and the monitor system is running, so there is always a time offset which create difficulties. And this was not the case from day one. Even from the rehearsal day, they said it matches, it feels good. So obviously we had a good constellation that our whole processing chain was in a good time window, let me say it in this way. So this was noticeable, that the band says everything feels good. This is very rarely the case, you know, in regards of PA and monitor time reaction, so to say.
Yes, we are running a bit out of time. We were booked for 20 minutes.
Okay.
But I saw that Pontus had left us, so I can ask you another question, Michael. Now that he's out of the studio, one of the worst scenarios for a live sound engineer is when the guitar player's girlfriend is standing always next to you and is claiming, "You can't hear the guitar loud enough." Is it as bad as having a sound engineer on stage as a guitar player? You have someone on stage who's both your musician and he's sound engineer. How is he controlling you? How is the cooperation? Does that work?
This works really well with him, because he said in the beginning, I want to be a musician on this tour, not sound engineer. And he was maybe once or twice out of front of house, just for fun. How are you? What you're doing? But never was doing or talking in a way of a sound engineer to us. He really kept himself out of this, and we could do our thing. And the teamwork was really good with Franz, so it was easy this way.
I see Pontus is back already.
Okay.
Do you agree?
We don't need to talk about the stuff in the bus, though.
Okay.
This is another
It
story.
stays in the bus.
Stays in the bus.
Okay, guys, thank you for joining us here. I hope to see you soon on some stage somewhere. Would someone of you like to briefly outline how you personally use this difficult time, for example, as a band who's no longer able to play for a live audience?
I say, from my point of view, I've been isolated more or less in the studio behind me here, and I've been doing loads of different stuff with everything from, you know, from pop to heavy metal, just being part of stuff that we've been, you know, donating to nurses and stuff here in Sweden with it's a big song, not big song, a Swedish song anyway, with a lot of famous Swedish artists. So yeah, I've been doing that, and we've been doing some just different constellations, doing like a COVID-19 thing on internet. Everyone is filming themselves. Right after this, I'm gonna start recording a video for a thing, if I can promote it in front of both. Check out At the Movies on YouTube. It's a really fun thing, and that's like a joint venture with different bands from Scandinavia, and we just do film music now from the 80s, and we're going to keep on doing it. We're doing it separately. We never met. We're just doing it in our studio. So just we're not making any money, but just having fun and being creative and keep on going until we can go on stage again.
And I've seen there is even Hammerfall TV now on YouTube.
Yes, that's Oscar. He takes care of that.
So subscribe here.
Yes.
Okay, Franz, Michael, some more input from you?
Yeah, there's many things what you can do. There's a lot of things what you always wanted to do and you never had time for.
Like a new website?
Yeah, maybe updating, or you make private things, what you could never visit before, or I have my equipment here now, and spend many time on this in regards to try new things. You have lots of playback recordings from previous concert. You can play with these kind of things. Or like the other guys, they're recording videos. So I don't have a band, so there's nothing in this way. Watching other tutorials, so time goes by. I'm not really sad about this time, but of course, it should come to an end soon. Of course, hopefully that we can continue working. But for now, I'm okay with that. I mean, what should I say?
We all clean the garage 20 times.
And you find a lot of things there.
Yes.
Looking for it.
So Franz, what about your garage?
Well, it has a few things left there, but I found like the lawnmower, I found the bike, I found a lot of things. And I try to, like Michael said, do things that are not in our normal life. Like I've had a holiday for 3 months now. I'm looking forward to spend my summer swimming in the ocean, having fun with friends, all of that, like really go into the summer off. That's a new thing for me.
Yeah.
With a lot of fishing and all of that.
Yeah.
But in the meantime, also education. Try watch tutorials, keep up on all the things that like you don't have time for in the normal working situation. But now it's like, yeah, well, I have a lot of time and I could do all of that. But I really, really, really look forward to go out again.
Yes,
To meet
we
the
all want.
audience, to meet
Yes.
the bands, to meet all the people that we are here to.
Yeah, we are missing them so much. Yeah.
We are.
Yeah. Okay, thank you very much,
Excellent.
guys.
Thank you.
Take care and keeps the flame burning. And
Oh yeah.
see you later.
Thank you.
See you.
Bye-bye.
Thank you. Bye.
All right, this already brings us to the Q&A session of this Tech Talk session around Hammerfall, and it's really interesting, getting all these insights. And also, this was a pre-recorded session from last week, but we have Frans and Pontus and Michael live in the call right today, so we can go through any questions that we have. So welcome, gentlemen.
Yeah,
Thanks
welcome.
for being here.
Thank you.
Here, let's have a look, Ivar.
Yeah, I
to
see some
what-
questions.
Yes. So we got one from Anton. I just addressed the question, and whoever wants to answer, feel free to do so. Are East Focus suitable for open air cases only, or can it be used for closed venues as well?
Maybe. Yeah.
That might be me then.
Yeah, Frans, go ahead.
Yeah, I would say East Focus, yes, of course you can use it in more or less any environment. You have to take consideration that it doesn't work with reflecting areas. It doesn't calculate for sound bouncing off walls. It just works with a direct sound. So it's up to you to use it however you like, I'd say.
Yeah, but you use it indoor for indoor use.
Yeah, for this tour I did.
Yeah, we have some examples where I saw that East Focus was used for outdoor gigs as well. So pretty cool. Thanks, Frans. We have another question here. How much did the PA setup vary from night to night? So how much did the venue vary in size and shape?
I would say that it was, let's see, the smallest show we did was about 500 people. And then we were at maybe 6 boxes aside. I think that was the smallest one with the main PA of 6 boxes. But then we also added some front fills and maybe outfills. I'm thinking of Stadthalle Langen. I think that was like a 6-box venue.
An outhang.
Yeah, with an out stack actually, with remember the 3 subs high and 2 boxes on top of that, just to make an outfill. So it went from there to the biggest shows. Ludwigsburg was one of the biggest ones, and there we had main hang of 16, out hang of 8 or 9 actually.
9.
Yeah, so 16 plus 9, front fill of 6 in total. All of these SM boxes, SM5s, SM10, SM20s. And in total, we used maximum, 36 subs for the PA. And the smallest we did, I think, was maybe 12. But then we were at a rock club. Let's see, one of the first shows, I think show number 3. We stacked them 2 high in front of the stage, 6 wide. So it was from 12 to 36 subs from maybe 20 to 60 tops.
Yeah,
More or less.
yeah. So from small to big. let's
Small to
say.
big, actually.
Yeah, and to deal also with the physical conditions of the room. So you cannot put always your speakers very well in the placement as you would like, or as the software would like. So you have to compromise the setup also. So that makes it sometimes really difficult. You know, if the club has a physical condition of stage with its completely set in beton, so you cannot put your subs there where you want. So this keeps you a little bit busy, but I think you can confirm that, Franz, right? So it worked pretty well. So this is very suitable, and you can put the boxes apart from each other, taking off from the dolly, make another position in between if necessary. So we was quite busy with that, but it works well with the system.
This is an interesting topic, by the way. You're touching a topic. Let's call it challenges. So then the question can be: so which one of the two gigs was one of the most difficult ones? Can you tell more about that? Because I can imagine that, as you just assumed, that can be a challenge in some venues. So
Well,
maybe Franz, you. So
no, well, I can start. I mean,
Good.
we had all the different variations of just from the loading perspective to get our stuff into the venue. Some venues have stairs to load in, and then it gets quite important to make a quick decision of what you want to have into the venue, because otherwise people will get angry if we ask them to carry the whole PA up through the stairs, and then later on say, well, I don't need it, so you can take it down again. That is a challenge to make the quick decisions about those things, and then we're all struggling for the height of the venue, the roof height. Some arenas are very have very low ceiling, maybe like 5-6 meters. Then to get a proper PA in there to reach the maybe 40-meter long hall, to go all the way back there, you really need to have a good system that can throw the audio so far. I think that was like the logistics was a very big issue.
I have to add something here also. Even if we had issues with clearance and if it was issues with loading in and stuff, anyway, both Franz and Michael made everything work. And like I said in the pre-recorded interview, that the most important thing is the time issue when you're on stage, because if the system is not timed right, then you have a big problem with feedbacks, and you have problems with the cancellations and everything using wedges or in-ears. We're using in-ears, and I think you did a great job, guys.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Oh, that's good to hear.
Yeah.
Thanks for sharing, Pontus and Frans.
Fun.
So just a question from my side. How was the feedback on audio quality from an attendee and venue insiders throughout the gigs? So what was the feedback that you got? And that Michael or Frans, whoever wants to.
You take this one, Michael, I think.
Yeah, I will try. So there are, of course, friends and colleagues, and also interested technicians, front of house guys, engineers, whatever, from time to time. And during the years of touring, you know a couple of people, and they show up to a concert sometimes. And so to make this short, so we had global really good feedback with this. It's very interesting because many of these people, let me say the major part of them, didn't knew the Bose system. Same as me, that was my first tour with the system. And many of them going away with an aha, because they know most of the venues and they can compare that a little bit. So they have seen awesome shows there or not so good shows. And with us, there many people say it was significantly a change in some situations, you know. So I think it's well received as a positive experience in terms of vocal intelligibility and clarity of the system. And it's not a huge amount of material, you know. That's also what plays a role. You can bring the biggest arena system, okay, then it's maybe easy to impress because you just pressure them. And this is a mid-size light system, which is in a big venue. It looks like you hang to gaffer stripes above the stage. You know, the system is physically very big, but it sounds like a big one. Let me say so. I can say that's quite positive experience, and what I heard from other people and colleagues and what you can read. Of course, you cannot look inside all the people's, you know, but it's a general thing. What is the expectation of today? Some people going to a concert and really wanna kick ass, and someone and enjoy more hi-fi. This is another discussion, but what we could deliver with the system nailed it, really, I have to say. So makes me quite happy that we had that on tour.
Let's say that sounds good.
Yeah.
Is there a sort of another thing, and then I think we don't have any questions more, but is there a sort of, let's say, a favorite feature of the system, a sort of, if it's the Delta Q, or can you, maybe I get 3 answers now, of course, but somebody wants to say something about this, a sort of feature of the Showmatch system that you personally like the most of? Is there somebody?
Well,
yeah?
yeah,
Go ahead.
well, I had the hands-on experience a little bit more maybe than the other guys, but the thing I liked the most was the weight, the power to weight ratio. I mean, the box is like 30 kilos each, more or less. And the system of 8 boxes is like 250 kilos, but less than 300. And with that amount of speakers in the air, you can't expect it to be that very loud because it's just 8 boxes. But it's 8-inch boxes, so it shouldn't deliver that fantastic sound pressure. But this was way above my expectations. I remember from the King Diamond tour we did. The first show we did was like, oh yeah, this is really powerful, and so that was the big thing. And also, I love the 8-inch speakers. I say that a lot because they really deliver. I mean, they go down to they crossover at 65 hertz, and that's quite low for an 8-inch. That's gonna do a lot of sound. And even though it had the clarity in the low mids to get the snare drum and the guitars to really be clear, and you can so that you really can listen to it and have the definition from that range of frequencies.
Great.
Yeah, I have to add here. It's funny to hear that you say that, Franz, about the low mid. And that was the first thing I, said to Michael also. Like it's hard to explain, but it's different. It's just different because it's the punch in the low mids and the clarity is fantastic.
Thanks for this add-on.
Yeah, no, it's great. So we that brings us almost to the end of the.
If there are no questions.
Of the questions. So we had a comment from Detlef, and before we go there, Detlef Höpfner is I want to say a big thank you for Detlef for facilitating this conversation.
Also from my side.
It was great work, and also I want to thank the whole team here for being with us in this Tech Talk session.
Thank you guys.
Yes, and Detlef was just curious, gentlemen, if you caught some fish. So and he is looking forward to meet you on stage again. So that was a comment that I saw here. So yeah, that brings us to the end of this today's Tech Talk session. So thanks again. Also thank you for the attendees and the folks that joined us today.
I hope to see you in one of the next webinars.
Right.
Yes, thank you. And for now, stay safe, and I hope to see you again.
Take care.
Take care. Bye-bye.
Bye, gentlemen.
Thank you.
Bye bye.
Bye-bye.